All right, I'm going to run through really quickly how you can make a broadcast campaign in Pitchit. Now we have three campaign types: broadcast, workflow, and inbound. Broadcast campaigns are unique because they are effectively a list of people that the AI agent needs to outbound contact to qualify. Workflow is usually an integration. So it's a real time, someone just filled out a form, they're the only person we have to talk to, it has to be right now. But it's not necessarily a list. It's more like one person at a time based on an integration telling us when to trigger an outbound sequence. And then inbound, this is not outbound at all. It's actually started by someone calling into a number versus workflow and broadcast. These both are outbound in nature. So they are not calling us. We have to call or text or email or message them first. And so that's how you decide which of the campaign types to use. Today's demo, we're going to run through making a broadcast campaign with our AI agents. And so before you watch this video, you will have wanted to have completed the AI agent builder video where we run through how you can make an agent in your account. So head over and watch that video first and come back here if you haven't seen that video, or if you haven't made an agent yet, then this video won't be comprehensive. So we're going to start by clicking create a new one. Now I'm going to call this broadcast campaign demo. This is where you would put your greeting. And so think of this as like your text to speech greeting where all of your disclosures about call being recorded. Do we have your consent to continue? We can look up all the different products available at your address. Can you send us your address? Or, hey, we have a big promo going. If you sign up today, you can get a free Ring doorbell. That's like what you'd put here is what exactly do you want the AI agent to open up with? So I think I have some examples. Let's do, no, I don't want any of those. Let's do a quick copy paste one from another campaign. So this is basically our standard greeting for our website demo. Now, the next step is where you want to select and assign an agent. So like I mentioned earlier, you'll have to have completed that other video first. It's going to pull a library of all of the available agents that we have. Now, generally speaking, I would not suggest choosing an IVR agent for an outbound campaign, although you could do it. And the reason is that lead qualification agents are a little more robust on product-related questions versus an IVR agent is a little more robust on triaging, and you can combine support and sales into these agents. And most of the time in broadcast, you don't need that level of robust support. You actually need a better understanding of what products you're selling to qualify leads. And so we do let you choose either or, but I would suggest if you're doing broadcast or workflow to stick with lead qual agents. So just pick one from your list and move to the next step. You can't select multiple. You can only pick one. And so if you have like 6 products you want to combine into one broadcast AI agent, that's totally fine. Just make sure that whatever agent you pick has all 6 of those products included in its training. And the other video I sent shows you how to do that as a dealer of multiple products. And that's because you can only pick one agent. So just make sure the agent you assign is trained on all the products that you might be selling inside of this broadcast campaign. So choose it, move on. The next step, as I mentioned, broadcast campaigns are unique because they start with a file that you load up. And so you're basically telling the AI agent, call all 40,000 of these people as soon as possible, versus a workflow, you're not using a file. You're saying, wait for a trigger from another integration to tell you when to write to this one person in real time. Broadcast is different. You take a CSV file. And we do have a template, so download the template and make sure that whatever file of people you want to load in follows our template headers. I do have a couple that are already finished here. Just a couple pointers. So I'm going to open up this file real quick. The unique part about our system is we're working with emails and phone numbers, right? And so when you load an email, make sure it's formatted right. When you load a phone number, try to include the international number. So this is the international number, basically +1. And then this is the local area code. And then this is the phone number combined. And so just make sure that you're not putting in a 10-digit number, because then we won't know exactly which country code to include. If you're in America, it's +1. But if you're in the Caribbean, it's +1 and then whatever local country code you have, which would be like 868. That's for like Trinidad and Tobago. And so just make sure you do include the international code when you load a number up. If you put it like this, then we're just going to append a 1, but that might not be the right international code. So don't rely on our system to guess which international code you're using, because this number might exist in 20 countries. So it's better if you always include an international code. And 1 is what most of our clients use. So 1 is the international code for the Caribbean and America, and I believe even Canada, but don't quote me on that. So just make sure you include that. Other than that, you can skip website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Those are kind of irrelevant. But you will want to include name if you're going to call out name inside of the campaign builder, or company if you're going to call out company. And I'll get into that. But basically, if you're going to use these snippets, you want to make sure these fields have a value. Otherwise, it won't know how to pull in the first name if you don't include first name. So just make sure you include a bunch of rows of data that all use these headers, exact match, and that's what this file is for. So what I've done is I created a file using those headers with 5 people as an example. Hit process, and it's going to basically run through and make sure you formatted phone numbers, emails right, that there's no like bad data inside of those cells. It'll like clean it up essentially. And so it'll take 40,000 leads, for example, and tell you how many of them you could actively SMS message or email message, right? So long story short, that CSV file needs to be loaded in our template. Now, after this is done, you're going to go to the section where you tell the AI agent which channels they have access to. So you will have already completed the steps of creating a voice number, an SMS number, etc. But I'm going to really quickly run through this. So I'm going to save this campaign, and then I'm going to go back to my name real quick and go to connections. You'll want to make sure you connect an email address, either Gmail or Outlook, or you can connect multiple Gmail or Outlook accounts. That's fine, and we'll kind of rotate. You'll also want to make sure you connect or bring your own SMS number. You'll also want to make sure that you activate your voice number. I've already activated mine, but had I not, it would have a button here that says activate and would create one. And then make sure you kind of sync your WhatsApp account as well, and then go back to your broadcast campaign here. And when you get to the select channel section, it won't be grayed out. It'll actually be a box you can check. And so I had already finished that. That's why all of my boxes are available. But if you're not seeing these options, it just means that you forgot to activate your connections. Next step, so this is a cool feature we call God mode. Any channel or email account that has ever been integrated from anyone on your team that you may have invited. So if you've invited a bunch of people and you have like 20 email accounts, it's going to let you pick which email address you want us to use for this AI agent. So it's basically going to dedicate this email address to the AI agent that you are hooking up at step 2. So it's going to write to the recipient from pitchit-sales@pitchit.ai in this example every time. It will always be from that email. If you don't select it, it's just going to rotate all of the ones tied to your account. And so in my example, I showed you guys, I had 2 connections, right? It's just going to rotate them. But if you do choose to select a dedicated email address in this step, it is only going to use this email address for all outbound emails and inbound emails. After that, it's pretty straightforward. You basically put in a subject. I'm just going to make up a subject for copy purposes, and then put in your body copy. Ticking the calendar booking link on or off, what this does is it effectively lets us paste a booking link at the end of your copy. So you don't need to paste a link like book a meeting with me here, right? And then you could put like a HubSpot / you don't need to do that because the AI agent's going to do that already. And we have our own first party calendar booking system. And so it will basically use like a Pitchit link that the recipient can click to book a meeting with your calendar, right? And I'll get into like which calendar it books onto at a later step. But if you toggle it on, it will include a booking link automatically at the very end of this copy. You don't need to include it in your copy, or it'll just basically paste it twice. So just don't do anything. Tick it on if you want the booking link on. If you tick it off, it won't actually offer a booking link at all. So the only way someone could book a meeting is if they basically ask to book a meeting to by like replying to this email and saying, call me tomorrow or something, right? And so I always try to encourage people to include a booking link. But sometimes if you have your own HubSpot booking links and you don't want to use Pitchit, or you have like a Calendly link or a Salesforce or a Microsoft Teams booking link that's like branded, sometimes I understand people turn it off and then they just paste it in. That's also fine. So you could put your Teams link here, right? And it would work the exact same way as our first party booking. I'm going to turn it on though for this example. Then the next step is to tell us what you want your email signature to look like. We are going to pull from the default company address that you created your account with, but you can change this to anything you want: name, address, etc. Next part, template ID. So inside of WhatsApp, we've got an integration with Infobip and Twilio, and it basically just asks for the pre-approved template SID that you're assigned. You just paste that in here. I don't have one for the purposes of this meeting, so I'm just going to make up a bunch of code here, but that's where you paste the template ID, and just make sure your copy perfectly matches the template ID. Generally, it's safer if you don't include any kind of a snippet greeting, because those are harder templates to have approved by WhatsApp, because you could embed whatever you want into that. And so they're a lot more wary to approve it. So it's better just to have like a hi with no snippet. So that'd be my advice. Just remove your snippets from WhatsApp. Same thing here. You can turn calendar on or off. Now, if you turn it off on WhatsApp, but it's on an email, for example, what that means is WhatsApp won't include a booking link, but email will. I don't know why you would want one or the other, but we do make it available as an option. Moving on to SMS. Same thing here, only you can totally include snippets, and I think they're a good use of time to include. So you can take the snippet and include first name, last name, or company name inside of the actual greeting, and it will basically take the name, which in this case, let's say it's Paul. It'd say, hi, Paul. This is utility agent for Pitchit calling, right? The next thing, again, God mode lets you pick any phone number that's ever been synced to any of your team members' accounts on Pitchit, and you can just tell us which one you want to use to dedicate to this campaign. And if you're doing DID tracking or TFN tracking for your marketing purposes to know which ones are leading to the most sales, you might want to actually dedicate a number to this agent. And so I would suggest picking one from your list. Final bit is voice. This is very important because on voice, you want to make sure you follow TCPA and just recorded privacy laws. And so in your pitch, make sure you include the TTS that your legal team wants. And so I put in here an example. This is utility agent for Pitchit calling on a recorded line, right? That's a very important disclosure that you're recording the call, because AI agents are absolutely recording every call on our platform, and there's no way to turn it off because we have to record the call in order to transcribe the call to understand what they're saying. And so it's by default recording every time. So make sure you include that in your disclosure, and then also put a nice call to action. So I have a live agent waiting on the line to help you. Would you like to speak with them now or schedule a call back later? This is a great greeting if your goal is to allow scheduled appointments and transferring to live humans. Now, one thing to note is you can do either or. So you can do just scheduling or just transferring. Or both transferring and scheduling, but you can't do neither. You can't choose neither option, because what that means is that the AI agent on the phone has no purpose other than to have a never-ending conversation with someone, right? The AI agent needs a purpose. Is your purpose to answer questions but then enforce a transfer? Good. Is it to enforce a transfer or potentially offer a scheduled appointment? Good. Tick them both. In this example, I'm offering both. Would you like to speak to a human now or schedule a callback for later? And so I'm just prompting the recipient really early on that that's my primary goal. Now, they could ask questions about products and pricing, etc., and tell you what they're calling about. And that's what the AI agent is there for. And in our other video, we show you how to create those. But still, if the primary purpose is to answer all those questions and transfer, just make sure you pick the right options here. I'm going to put in some dummy copy here just to move on. Now, if you want to do a PSTN transfer, just put your number in. You could put a TFN, a local area code number, or if you're in the Caribbean, this is where you'd put your VLN, your very long number. Just please make sure you include the country code. So I put in +1 for America. If you're in Trinidad and Tobago, that's +1868, for example, and then you put your VLN. Whatever it is, just make sure you do include the international number. Otherwise, if I just put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? If I just do this, we're not going to know which international country you're trying to contact. So we're just going to basically append a plus, and that might not be the right country. So just make sure you always put the actual international code first. But let's say you don't want to do a PSTN transfer. Maybe you're like a call center and you have a VoIP system like SignalWire or Twilio or Five9 or Dialpad or Genesis or something, right? Your call center probably offers SIP refer and SIP transfer, and it's basically a URL that you're transferring the call to, not a PSTN. And so you can put your SIP code URL here, and that's totally optional, right? We do make both options available. I am just going to put in a phone number here just to move on. Next step is to tell us the operating schedule. So keep in mind, these AI agents, if you tell us that we can schedule meetings and transfer calls, what that means is that there's basically a human agent in the loop, and human agents don't work 24/7, right? So this page tells us my call center is open in Monday through Saturday, let's say Monday through Sunday, Central Standard Time, 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, let's say 11 to 3 on Saturday, and 11 to 2 on Sunday, right? Or 11 to 2 on Sunday, right? So what this means is that if someone calls in or someone's talking to your AI agent and they're saying, yeah, call me, let's say it's Monday, and they say, call me tomorrow at 8 in the morning, Central Time. Well, the problem is we're not open at 8 Central Time on Tuesday. So the AI agent's going to say, I'd love to schedule a meeting with you for tomorrow, but we're open starting at 9 a.m. Can you pick a different time? And so it won't let them schedule a meeting for 8 a.m. because that means that they're scheduling a meeting for a time when no one at the call center will be available to take that call. So the AI agent's going to call them at 8 and transfer them in to a call center that's closed. So it doesn't make sense. And so we have this operating schedule feature so that you can stop that from happening and just prompt the recipient to pick a different time if they do so choose to live transfer after hours or schedule a meeting in the future for after hours. We will try to prompt them to make a change to that. I just realized I put PM instead of AM here, but anyways, you get the point. Moving on to the next part, setting follow-ups. This is my favorite feature. So if you have ever done outbound, you know that very few people in America pick up on the first call. If you're in the Caribbean, you're lucky. They generally answer everything that calls into their phone number. But in the United States and Canada, there is so much robo-dialing that it takes multiple follow-ups. If you don't want it, just turn it off, right? But if you do want it, because maybe it takes 5 attempts before you can reach someone, that's what this feature is for. So you're going to choose what days you want the AI agent to actually do its follow-up attempts. And this is mostly for TCPA. So if you're in the East Coast and your call center's opened up at 9, right? Well, TCPA laws would claim that that's okay because according to TCPA laws, you can call someone from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., but that has to be at the time is based on the local time zone of the party that you are calling. And so if it's 9 a.m. for you in New York, but it's 6 a.m. for your recipient in California, then you can't actually call them at that time unless they just ask you to call them. So like if you're doing follow-ups, your operating schedule might be different than your follow-up schedule, right? And so if you're in New York and you're calling people in New York, that's fine. Just do 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., right? Just follow the quiet hours because everybody is in your same exact time zone. But if they're not, then you'll want to make sure that you stagger your follow-up attempts for shortened hours. So you might have a call center that's open every day of the week, which is what I've chosen here for working days. But maybe you're in New York and you're calling people in California. So maybe you want to do like, let's say like noon, right? So no earlier than noon and no later than 5 p.m. And so if you're in New York, you're firmly within quiet hours. If you're in California, you're also within quiet hours because noon New York time is 9 a.m. California time. That's totally in the clear. And 5 p.m. New York time is 2 p.m. California time. So again, totally in the clear. And so just set your working hours as like shortened versions of your operating schedule so that you always guarantee that you're not breaking TCPA laws and calling people after hours. And, again, if you're in the Caribbean and everyone you're writing to is inside of one island, this is less relevant and your operating schedule might be identical to your follow-up schedule. But if you're selling across multiple different time zones or regions, internationally even, or regionally even, then this becomes very important because it tells the AI agent when it's allowed to follow up. The other part of follow-ups is how many times do you want us to try to call someone before they answer the phone? This is probably my favorite feature, which is where you give the AI agent a sales process. And that's because in America, you can't just call someone once. Nobody answers the phone because there's so much robo-dialing here. Now, if you're in the Caribbean, you're lucky. People answer every single phone call that they receive. But in America, it takes like 5 attempts before you can reach someone. And so this is where you can tell the AI agent, before you give up on this person, if they haven't replied or haven't booked a meeting or transferred or done what you wanted, I want you to try 5 more times. And so try the first time, and if they don't answer, try 5 more times for a total of 6 times. That's what we're telling it here. And then the daily limit is how many days do I have to complete these 5 additional calls on top of the original one that I made. And so you can say 2. And what this means is you're going to make your first call right away. Then you're going to make 5 more over the next 48 hours, so within 2 days. But they have to all happen within the working days and working hours that we have given the AI agent here. And so this gives you all the tools you need to follow TCPA laws in America and just, be kind to your recipients so you're not calling them in the middle of the night, while also remembering that you've got a job to do. I mean, you have a quota and sales process that you have to execute, and so you want to scorch the earth, right? The other thing that I like about follow-ups is you can change your pitch. So your follow-ups could be something like, are you still interested in signing up for internet? If so, call XXX. And this could be like your inbound AI IVR number that drives, so like your outbound campaigns can drive inbound AI IVR traffic here to claim your promo of a free ring doorbell. Who knows, right? This is basically where you put your offer and your AI IVR callback number as just a way to get this person to start talking again. Because the only time they'll receive a follow-up is if they stop talking to you or they don't answer ever. And so it's just an attempt to like do a quick final check to see if they're willing and able to actually have a conversation. And it'll try 5 more times with this copy to just get this person interested in talking again. So this is where you can give us different copy for email, WhatsApp, and SMS. Just make sure you fit whatever character limits exist for each channel, right? WhatsApp has more character limit than SMS, but email has basically unlimited. So just keep that in mind. You can do really big offers in email, but you have to be pretty concise in SMS and WhatsApp. Voice, we don't let you change. And that's because voice, there's a lot of laws around disclosures when you're on the phone because you're recording. And so we will keep the original greeting on the follow-ups as well, so you adhere to the legal requirements there. Final bit, so I alluded to this earlier, but I said I would explain how you choose the calendar. If you do let the AI agent book meetings, we will actually book a meeting on a Google or Teams calendar. And so you can pick any calendar that any team member on your Pitchit account has ever synced. You can tell us which one you want to pile those meetings onto. And if someone does book a meeting, what's going to happen is it will actually create a calendar invite on this person's calendar, and it will send it to the recipient to remind them that they're going to receive a call at that time. It's also going to spin up a Hangouts and team meeting link if you want to do like video calls at that time. So that's where you tell us which calendar you want to book the broadcast campaign booked meetings onto. So just make sure it's like a customer-facing calendar because they will actually see the calendar. And so don't use something like no reply at company.com. Make it something like sales@directtv.com. Final bit, at the very end, you can either send the campaign immediately, which would basically launch every single pitch for everyone in this audience right now, or you can schedule it for later and like have it staggered for next Monday at, let's say 9:00 in the morning, right? Totally fine. If you hit pitch then, it would not go live until next Monday in this example. So that's basically the last step. Hit Pitchit and you are good to go. And without further ado, that is how you can create a broadcast campaign with AI agents on Pitchit. Thanks for watching.